Hey guys, your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of basketball inside the NBA world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Sacramento Kings firing their former head coach Mike Brown. So this news yesterday shook up the NBA, the landscape of the NBA, especially in the Western Conference, now that the Sacramento Kings have fired Mike Brown in the beginning part of the NBA season after a disappointing 13-18 start to the NBA season. So I'll be sharing my thoughts on the news. Now, realistically, this was a silly choice by the Sacramento Kings to go ahead and fire Mike Brown. Mike Brown has done the dirty work, has built this franchise from the ground up once again, and actually got the Sacramento Kings back to the playoffs, something that they did not see in nearly 3 decades for Sacramento. So Mike Brown was the guy that changed the culture around. Yes, it's frustrating that they are 13-18 to start off the NBA season, but why fire him after 3 seasons and after you extended him to be your coach for 2026-27 for that time frame? Even though they were on a 5-game losing streak, that's when you find out how good the franchise really is, how good the team is. And the minute that Mike Brown criticized De'Aaron Fox for what he should have done defensively, for them to lose that game against the Pistons the other night, what do? They turn on him. The players want him out of Sacramento, and now he's been fired by the franchise. Are we really going to forget that Mike Brown helped the Sacramento Kings get to the playoffs, helped them to get the 3rd seed in the Western Conference just a year or so ago, won Coach of the Year in 2023. They were a part of the play-in tournament as well last year, so they have been flirting with the idea of being a competitive ball club for the last 2 to 3 seasons in the NBA, and then you just go ahead and fire him. So I think this was a really silly decision by the Sacramento Kings here based off of what he's done. And he's helped develop players such as De'Aaron Fox. He's brought the best out of him. De'Aaron Fox is now, I view him as a top 10 point guard in the NBA. He's also helped develop a player like Malik Monk, who was 6th man of the year in the NBA not too long ago as well. So I don't understand. And I think Mike Brown's going to have a job. I don't think he's going to be without a job. Probably for the end of the NBA season, yes. But next year, he should be back on his feet with a coaching job. This is a guy that has a lot of coaching experience. If you guys remember LeBron James's first stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers years and years ago in the early 2000s, he helped that Cleveland Cavaliers team that really only had LeBron James and a wash Shaquille O'Neal get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals in the late 2000s. Also, as a 2-time Coach of the Year. Like I just said, he just won Coach of the Year in 2023 with the Kings, and also was a part of that coaching tree with the Golden State Warriors. He was assistant coach with Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors when they were on that dynasty run in the late 2010s. So he has a lot of coaching experience. It can help develop players. He should find a job within next season, but I'm very surprised that the Sacramento Kings fired Mike Brown based off of their slow start to the season. And as for the rest of the Sacramento Kings, I hope this was what they wanted, because not only did you fire a good coach in Mike Brown, you guys brought in DeMar DeRozan during the summertime. You traded for him with the Chicago Bulls. So you actually have a really good roster that can possibly, their ceiling, the Kings' ceiling heading into the season when it's try to be a top 6 team in the West to avoid the play-in tournament. I thought they could still do this despite starting off 13-18. It's not the end of the world. It's late December. Still got a lot of basketball left, but they wanted to go in another direction. This team is still loaded. I mean, they still got De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, one of the most underrated big men in the NBA today, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and several others on Sacramento. They got a good roster, but if the players really wanted Mike Brown out, I hope this is what you wanted, because without a caliber coach like that and a loaded Western Conference with so many caliber playoff teams, and you need that coaching experience, skills are on the court, yes, but you need that coaching guidance in order to beat these other top-tier teams when you match up against them later on in the season, and especially when you play against Eastern Conference teams. Every win matters, every loss matters. So hope the Kings made the right decision for their sake, but I disagree. I think firing Mike Brown was a silly choice based off of one game, one press conference that he spoke about saying that he thought his players should have done better. That's why the NBA is soft in a way. The NBA is just a scapegoat for if things go bad, they'll get you out of the door in your franchise. Look at the other leagues like the NFL, the MLB, and the NHL. There is no easy way out. The NBA, all you got to do is just have one bad season, they fire you. Or if things don't go your way as a superstar player with the franchise you're with, you get traded to a different team. And nowadays, it's rare to see a coach or a player finish out their contract with the team that they signed the contract with nowadays in the NBA, because when things go wrong, you get fired. When players don't want you there, you get fired. When things don't go your way as a superstar player with a franchise, all you got to do is request a trade and you'll be out within a month or so. So that's the way how I think the NBA needs to buckle down on those type of situations. But those are my thoughts on Mike Brown being fired by the Sacramento Kings. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.